Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live stream with me, Mr. Tarnus11, and also Jack the Film Fanatic. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's been basically going on in the world at the moment, obviously due to the cases of the coronavirus, which transpired earlier this year. We were forced in the UK, myself and Jack from the UK, we were forced to go into a lockdown. Every country basically was, but we went into lockdown in March, and as subsequently everything was shut. And thankfully, as time has gone on, the cases of the virus have dropped down, and everyone has been told to be socially distant and stay at home. And we've been doing that. But also, it's meant for the entertainment industry that the cinemas have been shut. And of course, this is kind of annoying for me because I pretty much live in the cinema when I'm not at home. But I understand why they've done it and why everywhere had to shut because of health and safety reasons and whatnot. But hello to Sam, Harrison, and Lauren who are in the chat. Hi guys, thank you for watching. Obviously, Lauren, you're from the US, so I don't know if your restrictions have been eased yet or not. But feel free to comment in the chat below and let us know what's going on in the US. But our restrictions have been eased slightly. But it is going to be a few more months at least before we make real progress. But in terms of the cinemas, they are talking about the possibility of reopening them in July in time for the release of Christopher Nolan's movie, Tenet. But this is all a mere rumor at the moment. It's subject to how we do in the lockdown and how we do with the cases of the coronavirus. If we see a radical drop in the cases, and if we are managing to be socially distant, then Boris Johnson, our Prime Minister, he will allow us to kind of gradually resume normal life. So sorry for the long-winded explanation, but that's kind of it. And also, there's been a lot of movies that have been delayed. Pretty much every single big movie has been delayed until later in the year. Just a few examples would be A Quiet Place 2, No Time to Die, Fast and Furious 9, which has been delayed till next year. Wonder Woman 1984. There's been quite a lot of delayed movies, which is a real shame. But at the end of the day, it was for the best. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to Jack. And so, Jack, what's your take on all this? And do you think that we will be ready to go back to the cinema in July? And do you think that, or do you think that we need more time to get over the virus before we even consider going back to the cinema? And later on in the video, we'll discuss about No Time to Die because there's a bit of a universal dispute with the cinema chains at the moment. But just focusing firstly on the virus and the possibility of cinemas reopening, what do you think of all this, Jack?
Well, I think people's health is the main priority. I don't think we should be opening things up too quickly in case, more people get this coronavirus. And, Boris Johnson, unfortunately, he had the coronavirus there and it looked like at one point he could have died. But, thankfully he's recovered from that. And, this is still a global pandemic. We've been in lockdown now for nearly 2 months, or maybe it is 2 months now. And I think, it's best to just sort of take it in, small doses. Like I think eventually we will have to come out of this lockdown so we can get the economy going again, and people need to go back to work and get businesses working and stuff. But I think the people's health is the main priority here, and I think I think with cinemas opening again in July, I think personally I think it's an interesting thing because this coronavirus stuff is still happening. So I think if they're going to open the cinemas, they're going to have to have social distancing. There's going to be there's going to have to be some kind of way where if people are going to see films in the cinema, like we might have to have a space of 2 or 3 seats between each person. I think it's like 2.
Yes.
You have to stay away. You have to stay like at least 2 meters away from someone who's got coronavirus. So
I think that's it. Sorry to interrupt. They have discussed that they will let fewer people in, and they will obviously, if you're going in as a family, you stick in your family group, and if you're going, obviously with other people, you will have to probably leave spaces, and I think to accommodate that, they will probably have to let fewer people in. But I think it can be done. I think it would be pretty easy in a cinema to socially distance. They have talked about with the pick and mix, like the sweets and the confectionery. Usually, customers can go and pick the sweets up from the side counter themselves, but I think they've said the staff are going to do that now because of social distancing and the coronavirus. And I think that's probably a good idea. But other than that, the actual experience won't change that much. I just think people have to be careful going in and out of the cinema. They'll have to just monitor the queues quite carefully. But I mean, I'm not too worried about my local cinema because my local cinema is not as busy during the week anyway. So I don't think it will be a problem for me. But obviously when the big releases come out, and if we still having to social distance, then that is going to be challenging. But I think there's a chance it could work. But as you say, we're still in lockdown. So, and the virus is still around. It hasn't gone yet. So we'll see. I don't know about Ireland, Jack. I don't know what the cases are like in Ireland, but yeah.
Well, I mean, Northern Ireland's part of the UK, and so therefore we're sort of under the same rules of lockdown. Although saying that, I think in England, that's the only place that's sort of gradually reopening now with the lockdown. Like Boris is, trying to gradually open things up again, but not that much. I think Boris knows that, if we open up the lockdown too soon, then there would be a wave of secondary infection, and the NHS can only cope with so much. No, I mean here I think the government we have over here in Stormont, it's sort of I mean right now it's not really opening that much up, and I think I think it'll be good to open cinemas up again in July because we've had all these films that have been delayed because of coronavirus. Of course, Bond was the first one to be affected by this delay, and understandably so because because of the whole Corona stuff.
And Bond was meant to be an April release, so that would have been in the midst of the pandemic. So it was was inevitable that that would have been delayed, and same with like A Quiet Place 2 as well, which was a March release, and so no wonder they delayed everything. It's not a surprise.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I think this sort of I think opening up the cinemas again, it is going to be good, but I think when you're opening up the cinemas, I think you're right. It will be pretty easy to maintain social distancing. I mean, if you have a cinema, and have a space between like the chairs, have at least when you're filling up the cinema, like try and have a space of at least 2 or 3 seats between each person. And I mean it may affect the amount of people that get into a cinema screen, but at least you're still getting people in there and watching the films, and I think it'll be nice to see the cinemas open up again, because really since this whole No Time to Die situation, like since really February I guess or March, the cinemas have been completely shut, understandably so. They don't want people getting this infection, but I mean I look forward to see like the films that they're going to release. I'm looking forward to that.
To just interrupt 1 second. Sorry to cut you off. Just one thing. The only problem I could potentially see is perhaps kids. If they let kids into the cinema, will the parents be able to control them under social distancing? Will they be releasing kids' movies? I suppose they will if they reopen the entire cinema. But that's my only concern, is like if there are kids in the screens who are probably a bit younger and may not have a concept of social distancing, that's where it could be risky. But if the cases of the virus start to decrease, then it may not be as worrying. But even so, I suppose it might be, if they were to open in July, maybe that I could see some people having concern with that. So if you get like a big kids movie, for example, if they'd released Trolls in the cinema later this year, maybe not all the families would go and see it because of the kids. They would worry their kids would be unable to socially distance in the cinema because it's a big kids movie and it's bound to be popular. So that's probably why they released it on streaming. But would you agree with that, or do you think they could do it? Jack? Okay, Jack's gone. Right. I'll have to just carry on for a sec. But yeah, that's kind of the only potential I could see having. I mean, I think this is a global thing as well, not just necessarily the UK, but if cinemas did reopen, how would young kids be able to deal with social distancing? Like, would they purposely barrier off the seats? I suppose they might do. It just depends how serious they want to take it. Or they'll have ushers in there permanently to monitor the audience, maybe. I don't know if they'll do that, but yeah. Hi, Jack. You back?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I was just, my brother's phone was ringing, so it was pissing me off. But
Well, no, that's all right.
yeah.
So sorry, just to backtrack. What do you think of, like, obviously, like the only problem I could see with cinemas reopening is the kids social distancing in the cinema, and also would parents be able to control their kids under those conditions? That's the only issue I might be able to see. Would you agree, or you don't think that's a problem?
No, I think that is potentially a problem. I think with young kids, they're not really. I mean, young kids aren't really aware of most things. Like, if you tell a kid to do something, they'll probably ignore you when it's very young kids because they don't really understand the world and what's going on. So I think social distancing with kids, it'll be a lot harder to maintain that, especially if like a little kid like of 3, 4, 5 years old starts wandering about, like they could touch someone who has coronavirus maybe, or I don't know. But yeah, I think with young kids that might be harder to maintain social distancing. But uh I think maybe what should happen is, if they're opening cinemas again, maybe kids shouldn't go to the cinema, or if they are bringing kids to the cinema, make sure that um, there's only like maybe 1 or 2 kids with them, because you don't want like a bundle of kids coming in there, and
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. So like no
maybe.
kids parties or anything, like no, because I know my cinema used to do a kids party thing where you could like pay a certain amount of money for to get a group of kids to watch a movie, and I mean that would be too risky. I don't think cinemas would do that. So yeah, but trouble is, obviously there's a lot of good film. There's a lot of films that they want to release which would be good for kids, but yeah, I mean they would obviously stagger the times, the showings. So I don't know how they would deal with that. Maybe they'll have a permanent usher in there, or ushers making sure they sit in the right places, or they'll cordon the specific seats off. They'll barrier the seats in the middle so they can only sit on the aisles. Maybe they'll do that, but I don't know. It's hard to say because I don't work in a cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think with the cinema, if you're going to open it up again, you really just have to, yeah, like you said, don't have any kids parties or stuff. And if you are going to bring kids to the cinema, make sure that there's like enough parents there, or like enough people there to make sure they don't go running off or wandering off, and you know getting near other people and stuff like that. And yeah, I think that could be a solution. And also, oh yeah, Lauren asks, what are the ushers? But yeah,
Yeah.
um, no, but I think as well, like you were saying, like the pick and mix sweets or whatever. Like, I think that's a good thing that the people are doing it themselves instead of us going up and getting the pick and mix. But I mean, as for the cinemas, I think a limited amount of cinemas should open. I don't think like every cinema across the country should open, and if they are um opening up the cinemas, I think there should be a guy at the door, like saying that there's only they're allowed a certain amount of people inside one screen, or or the building itself, just to make sure that nobody, there isn't too many people in there, like, and too close to contact to get the virus or something. But yeah.
Yes, exactly, and I think that's a good point, especially if you're going to have premieres as well for movies. Then you won't be able to have as many people standing outside the barriers like you normally do. So for example, if No Time to Die releases in November, and the coronavirus still hasn't disappeared, but they're still going ahead with the release, then they have to be careful with the amount of people that can stand there. They'll have to limit the amount of premiere tickets that they can that they can get. But I think like bigger cinemas, like you say, like multiplexes, depending on the size of them, I think they'll just have to let a few people in at a time. I think what they're saying is they're going to stagger the showing times of the films. So each film will probably maybe have like 3 showings or maybe even just 2 during one day. It depends. It depends. I don't know if cinemas, because not every cinema is open till beyond midnight. So I think, yeah, it's a gradual thing. And I think as hopefully the virus dissipates, then they'll start to return back to normal. But it's hard to say at this point. But I mean, if the cinema does open in July, I'll be happy. It'll give me something to do, and I will obviously maintain social distancing. Even if I have to go and wear a mask when I go to the cinema, that's fine. I understand. But I just hope they do it at the right time. But I mean, obviously, I showed you that article that I saw earlier where it looks like we've had no cases in the UK for 24 hours. So that bodes well. It gives me hope that as the year goes on, things will start to reopen. And as you say, the economy needs to continue. If we keep things closed for another couple of months, our economy is just going to collapse. I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose it already is collapsing, but business needs to get back on track. Otherwise, the government are going to struggle even more. But and the NHS, I know what they mean, but because the NHS don't want to be overwhelmed. But we made the right decision. But I just hope that when cinemas are open in July, that I mean, will there be people that want to go as well? I mean, if you don't get enough customers as well, then maybe they'll just close them up again and wait for a bit. But I hope that doesn't happen. I think there will be people that want to go to the cinema, but I actually think parents might be anxious about taking their kids, but it's really hard to say because everyone's different.
Yeah, exactly. And I think really, I think we need to get rid of this lockdown soon. I mean, I think, it's a good thing that we've had this lockdown, so, we save people's lives. But I do think, soon we should be trying to get some people back to work and stuff like that, because I think, they're talking about like, a recession nearly as bad as the economic Wall Street crash of the 20s. Like they're saying, like, if we don't get this sorted out soon, if like we spend months and months and months or maybe years in lockdown, then the economy is just gonna fucking go in the toilet, and it's gonna be a worse financial crash than the 2008 one, which was pretty bad. And we're still just we've only still just recovered from that. We're still recovering from it. But yeah, I mean, I think I think it'll be good to open cinemas soon and get businesses open again. I mean, talking about restaurants though and pubs and things like that, like apparently they're not going to be opening again till Christmas. So like, there's no real hope of them opening anytime soon, because a lot of people meet up in pubs and restaurants, and it's a very social place. Lots of people, in contact with each other. So
yeah,
I
think that's right, because a friend of mine actually works in a pub and in the kitchens and whatnot. I mean, he was saying there's a chance that maybe in the autumn they might bring him back. He's waiting to hear when he's going to go back to work. He's still on furlong pay. The thing is also, I think the government are extending furlong pay until October, so maybe the restaurants will open then. But I guess maybe if we see rapid improvement, then the government might say, okay, we'll open restaurants and bars, but again, letting in a few customers at a time. I think pubs might be very difficult. Pubs will be difficult to socially distance because people like to go in there for a long time and have a drink for a long time. Restaurants, not as bad. You just maybe have to, because you're in tables. So, I think the restaurants will be easier to to kind of distance. But if it's like a bar restaurant, then maybe that might be a struggle. But I think they should be kind of some of the last places to open, if that makes sense.
Open up the nightclub soon, please.
Oh God, yeah. But no, I mean, in going back to obviously the cinemas and stuff. We've talked about sort of the delays of movies and stuff, but obviously you and me were the biggest delay we were upset about was Bond, No Time to Die. I mean that was kind of announced before the lockdown, before we went into this lockdown, which at first puzzled me why they delayed it, because they said because of the theatrical global marketplace or something, and then little did I know it was mainly because of the virus. And obviously, inevitably, it would have got delayed anyway. So in the end, I understood why they chose to delay it. But it was a bit of a blow at first because we were a month away. It was in March. We were a month away from release. We were getting so excited, and then bang, they do that. But I don't blame the producers. I don't blame the Bond producers. They're just following government guidelines. They don't want to release the movie when people's health is at risk. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's frustrating, especially with the amount of delays that guy has had. But I think there is hope for the November release to stay. There is hope for it to stay. I just don't know how. It's a real gamble. It would depend how we are later in the year, but I still think there's a chance we could see it in November. Also, dependent on this this feud between Universal and the cinema chains in the UK, but. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to sort of shed any light on your feelings about No Time to Die, Jack.
Yeah, well, I mean, as for No Time to Die, it's been really, it's been really frustrating, the amount of delays, because we've had to wait nearly 5 years for this film. I mean, Spectre came out, I think it was October, November 2015, and since then, we've really had nothing when it comes to Bond. Like, we had 2 years of literally nothing, and then Daniel Craig announced in 2017 he was coming back, and then the ball started getting rolling. Like, they went into production, and then they got Cary Fukunaga, and Danny Boyle dropped out, and all this stuff happened, and I was really hoping. Because, I mean, it was originally supposed to come out in November 2019, then they delayed it till Valentine's Day, then April 2020. I was really hoping, I was thinking to myself, yes, right, this is it. This is the final delay. Here we are, the new Bond film, and then this fucking coronavirus shit breaks out. And, I mean, if it wasn't for this fucking virus, we would have already had this movie out in the cinemas by now. We would have already seen it multiple times.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Because the fact is, the delay, the whole dispute was brought on by the fact that Trolls World Tour, which was distributed by Universal, went to streaming, and then there was a big hissy fit, and they're now saying that Universal, that the cinema chains are banning Universal films, which is just ridiculous. But I'll let you explain that. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine, honestly. Yeah, no, I mean, I just, but with Bond being delayed till November, it really pissed me off. But now it looks like it could be delayed till 2021 because of this whole Universal dispute. And look, the thing is, look, I know the cinemas and the studios have a deal where, a film comes out in the cinema, and it's there for like a month or whatever, and the cinemas can make money. I can understand that, but I really don't understand why the cinema chains are just going nuts over this. I mean, I can understand why. Like, they wanted to make some money out of Trolls. They wanted to make, the box office, by having it in cinema. But the thing is, the world's under lockdown. And I really don't blame Universal for putting it on streaming. The world's in lockdown. Nobody can go to the cinemas. All the cinemas are pretty much shut. So what else were Universal supposed to do? I mean, I guess they could have delayed it till later this year or next year, but we don't know how long this virus is going to be here. This virus could be here to the end of the year. It could be, gone within the next few months. It could be here for another 2 years, 3 years. We don't know how long this virus is going to be here before it sort of dies off. And the thing is, like, I'm completely on Universal's side here. I mean, I know they have this agreement, the time window of having, the film in the cinema for like a few weeks or a month or a bit over that, so they can make their money. But the world's in lockdown, and I think Universal probably they made a gamble. They said to themselves, well, we can delay this film, and it's going to cost us, millions of dollars to delay it. It's going to cost us a lot of money, or we can release this on streaming, and people can see it that way. And I think they made the right decision, in terms of a company decision. Like they wanted to, they didn't want to delay it, and keep delaying it, and lose loads of money by keeping delaying the film. So
Mm.
I just think the cinemas. I just think the cinemas are totally out of line with this. I mean, I just think it's ridiculous that they've had this ban on all Universal films, including Bond. Like I was looking at it the other day, like the cinema in my um, uh, city, Odeon, which I go to quite a lot. It's banned all Universal films, including Bond, and I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, Bond. I just don't see why you would ban a film, especially like Bond, No Time to Die. I mean, yes, Universal are distributing it, but Bond, we've been waiting years for this. We've been waiting nearly half a decade for this film. Um, loads of people want to go see it. I mean, it's a Bond movie. This isn't just like a, who cares about trolls? I mean, this isn't just another, movie that you'll watch and you'll forget about it. You forget about it. I mean, this is Bond. This is James Bond. This is a huge franchise, one of the biggest
Yeah.
franchises in Hollywood, one of the longest running franchises in Hollywood. So I just think it's ridiculous
Yeah.
that cinemas have said, "Oh yeah, we're going to ban all Universal films." I mean, what happens if you live in like a small town or a small village or something where your only local cinema is Odeon or something like that, and they ban all Universal films? Or what? You're not going to watch, like, you can't watch Bond then? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I just add to that also with the
yeah,
trolls thing? The reason why they probably put it to streaming also was because of kids. Like that's their target demographic, and they, going to lockdown, cinemas were closed anyway. But also, kids, again, to release the trolls in the cinema, like kids couldn't be socially distant at that time, and it was just, and kids were going to be off school as well, so it would have been something for them to watch. And they thought, well, we can still make some money out of this, but I mean, they made a loss. I mean, at the end of the day, they made probably a bit of a loss by putting it to streaming. But that's that's that. But they can't do that with Bond because Bond has got so much money invested in it, and it's a big spectacle. It's event cinema. Like to deny that to the fans who have been craving it is wrong, and to deny that to cinemas who have been craving it is wrong. The cinema chains, probably all the cinema sites in the UK probably rake the money in from James Bond because those movies make a hell of a lot of money. I mean, look at Skyfall. It grossed over $1 billion in the UK. I think it went over $1 billion eventually. And then Spectre did pretty good as well. I remember the first day I saw Spectre and it was packed. And I bet most people were going to see Spectre. And I think gradually, Bond it makes loads of money. It's a great franchise. So No Time to Die and after all the delays as well, it is frustrating. I'm sure I'm sure the dispute will be resolved, but I just hope that the cinema chains actually do allow this to happen. I mean, at the end of the day, the decision to release Trolls on streaming wasn't malicious. It was just for the best, and it was of the circumstance at the time. So I don't know where this whole dispute has come from. It just sounds so petty as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's not just Bond, as you say, it's other films from Universal as well. So I think that's just going way too far.
yeah. No, I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, the fact that we might have this film delay till 2021, not because of coronavirus, but because of this fucking silly dispute. I mean, I'm going to be honest, it pisses me off. It really pisses me off because, as a Bond fan, we've had to wait so long for this film. I mean, the gaps during the Daniel Craig era have been insane, and I mean, I don't blame the producers, for all the gaps. I mean, I know from Con Masol's to Skyfall, there was like financial issues with MGM, and then we had Skyfall, the Spectre, which wasn't too bad. It was only a 3-year gap, but with this film, we've had to wait so long. Like, I mean, part of me kind of, wishes Daniel Craig got out of his arse, got up off his arse sooner and said, he was coming back, because I think if he said in 2016 or late 2015 he was coming back, we could have had this film gone into production earlier, and we could have had this film out by now, by like 2018 or 2019. I mean, I was talking about Nick. I was talking about this with Nick recently, and I mean, I don't blame Daniel Craig for all his coronavirus delays and all the production delays, and the script rewrites and getting a new director and all that stuff. That's not his fault. And I think Daniel Craig's a great actor, but part of me kind of wishes he'd have just said earlier that he was coming back, because if he had said, in late 2015 or early 2016 or halfway through 2016, he was coming back, then we could have got the ball rolling much faster, and we could have had this film out by now. But
that's true. But think about it this way. I mean, they have actually finished it. They had finished it on time for April. So, I mean, I was glad that production, after a while, it managed to finish and it went smoothly. But again, this coronavirus shut the world down, and this dispute has also really, really been annoying. And we know that the film is finished, and Cary Fukunaga says he's happy with it, and they can't make any changes to it now because it would cost them money. So they have got the film locked, and it's sealed. It's under lock and key. So I mean, I know we'll see it. We will see it. I mean, we have to see it. They have to release it because of the money issue. So I just hope that this dispute gets sorted out within the next couple of months. Or as cinemas reopen, they'll need to sort this dispute out. If it is delayed till 2021, that'll be a real kick in the teeth. Like April 2021. I mean, no, come on. Like, I mean, we know it will get released. We know it will positively guaranteed to get released. But if Universal, if the cinema chains are the reason for the delay, then well, that's stupid, and it's their own fault, because Bond it's a film that's going to make them loads of money, and also the other Universal films. Universal put out some good stuff, so why deny people that? Especially as the cinemas have been shut for so long. People, there won't be much to see otherwise, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, I just think, if they delayed it again, it would just be completely ridiculous, because, I mean, we've already had all these delays. We originally supposed to come out in November 2019. That was delayed till Valentine's Day, so that was one delay. Then it was delayed to April. That's the second delay. Then it's delayed till November. That would be the third delay. And then if they delayed it again, it'll be like the fourth delay of this film. I mean, people have said it. It's kind of becoming like the new mutants of the franchise. They just keep delaying it and delaying it and delaying it. And the thing is, like you said, it's already done. It's finished. It's in the can. So, the sooner we get this out, the sooner we get this coronavirus sorted out and get people back in the cinema, the sooner we can sit down and we can enjoy Daniel Craig's last outing as Bond. And I think, they should release it this year, because, I mean, Nick was saying this as well. Like, they've never released a Bond film at the start of a decade, if you think about it. Like, they've always had a film. They've had like a Bond film like every other year, apart from the start of a decade. So it would be nice to release it like this year, and to delay it again. I mean, I just think it would be crazy, because it would be, along with GoldenEye, it'd be the joint longest gap. It'd be a gap of 6 years between Spectre and this film, and I just think it's nuts. I mean, I know patience is a virtue, and I know it's good to be patient, but there's only so much, my patience can be tested before, I get pissed off. But yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, I don't try to let it bother me. At the end of the day, some fans are obviously complaining about it all the time and saying, "Oh, I'm so done with this film. I'm not excited for it anymore. It's taken too long to get it going." But To be fair, it's a situation out of their control at the moment. It's not the Bond. It's not the Bond producers' fault. They've made the movie. They've done their job. They want to release it. So, it's annoying. It's a complicated. It seems to have become very complicated with the world. But it would be nice to see the film at the end of this year. I mean, November's always been a good sort of date for the Bond franchise because all the other Craig movies have been released around that time. Like, well, Skyfall was an October release, but basically, very end of October. So around that autumn time of year, Daniel Craig's Bond movies have been released, and they've always been very successful, and they've made a lot of money. So yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have seen it in April. Oh God, yes, I would have loved to have seen it in April. But as long as we get to see it in November, then I'll be happy. I mean, I hope it doesn't get released in 2021 because I think a lot of people are starting to get fed up of it, like the fact that we have to wait. But I think they've accepted that it's the coronavirus issue that has delayed it, which is fair enough. But I think people are now getting even more annoyed at this dispute because it makes them worry. It makes them worry more that they're not going to see the movie till 2021. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this dispute will get sorted out before the year is out. Hopefully within the next month or two, because then that will give us some clarity about the release. But also, again, it depends on the virus. If the virus strikes back, then we're fucked. Not just for the Bond movie, but just in the world, we're fucked. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, Daniel Craig's my favorite Bond, and I just want him to go out on a great note. So yeah, let's just hope that it gets released in November, please. I mean, the 12th of November in the UK, 25th of November in the US. I mean, the US, I think, is in a worse place than we are in terms of the virus. But I mean, according to what Lauren has said in this chat, they're the worst affected country. And to any Americans in the audience, I feel dreadfully sorry for all of you.
Yeah. Harry says, I feel so bad for Onward having such a short run in the cinemas because of this virus. Well, at least it got released. But,
yeah, true. I mean, Onward, maybe it was pointless to even release it, to be fair, but Onward then went straight onto Disney Plus. And obviously everyone's paying for Disney Plus. So I don't think, I mean, Pixar have obviously made a substantial loss on Onward, but that's not, I mean, I'm sure they'll be fine. I mean, they're like $1 billion studio. They'll bounce back somehow. They'll recover from it. I mean, Disney Plus is obviously come actually. That's another thing I think which has helped during the lockdown. Disney Plus has come at the right time in the UK. I know in the US, I think it came earlier, but in the UK, it arrived in March. Perfect time for the lockdown. And my family got Disney Plus, and that's been keeping me going for the last couple of months. Which is good. So I thank Disney for that. But yeah, I mean, Harry also says, I hope No Time to Die turns out to be the best James Bond movie ever. Well, Harry, so do I. Even if it's not going to be the best movie in the franchise, I just want it to be really good. Yeah. And it sounds like they put a lot into it. So it will be very rewarding to see it. And for Daniel Craig to leave the role on a high note, that's all he wanted. And that's all we want. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think with No Time to Die, because we've had to wait so long, this film, I think, better be very good, or at least good. Because I think, waiting so many years for this to be released, if this is, I mean, I've said this 100 times, like 1,000,000 times before to you, but I mean, if this film is just mediocre or crap, then it'll be such a letdown, because this is Daniel Craig's last one, and I really want it to be a high note to send off his era, and I would love it to be the best Bond film ever made as well. I mean, we've had to wait such a long time for it, and I mean, it's going to be a tough act to follow Spectre, in my opinion, in Skyfall. But
yes, I mean, judging from what I've heard about the movie, I really do think that I think it will be good. I think it looks very good. Obviously, I can't judge without seeing it, but the action looks great. The cinematography looks really good. I think Cary Fukunaga is proving himself as a director. I've no doubt Craig will be very good as Bond in his last performance. I hope the story is good, because there's a lot that was set up in the trailer, and the trailer's very, very intriguing. I mean, that trailer was awesome. So I mean, if by chance the lockdown restrictions ease even more, maybe they could go and edit another trailer for us. That would be lovely. But because that would at least be something. But yeah, I hope it delivers the story. And I mean, we have the Billie Eilish song. We got that before we were meant to get the film. But yeah, so that's something. But it has been a long road. It has been a long road. And this movie, I agree with Calvin Dyson. There needs to be a documentary made about No Time to Die. I hope on the Blu-ray they make a documentary about the production of this film, because my God, it has been a roller coaster. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I will say, I mean, I hope when the Blu-ray comes out, we get loads of special features, like a making of documentary, like you said, and other stuff. Because one thing I will say about Spectre, like, I mean, I have the DVD and the Blu-ray, and both releases, like, the special features were shit. I mean, all they had was those clips that they posted on YouTube, and a 20-minute or 30-minute making of that scene of the Day of the Dead, but that was it. And I really think, if you're going to do a Blu-ray release of a Bond movie, you should be putting as much special features in there as you can, like the older Blu-ray and DVD releases for like the Ultimate Editions. You had the making of documentary and all this other stuff. And yeah, I would like to see a making of documentary because of the production problems on this. And I just hope we don't have to wait, longer for this film to come out. I hope, the world is mostly healthy and all that by the time November comes around. And I hope, we don't have to wait until 2021, because, like I said, it'll be the joint longest gap between a Bond film and, I mean, if this Corona shit's still around next year, they couldn't even get delayed till 2022 if there's coronaviruses, like, here to the end of the year and next year, and I really hope that doesn't happen, I mean, yeah, I mean, but I will say I don't want it on streaming. I really don't want, a
Yeah.
Bond film to be put on streaming. Because you go to a Bond film to get the cinematic experience. You go there to, I mean, that's what I love about the Bond films. I mean, seeing Spectre in cinema and Skyfall and Quantum, I mean, these are films that are made for the big screen. I mean, it's nice to watch them on your TV and your Blu-ray, but I mean, you go to the cinema to get the cinematic experience, and seeing Bond on the big screen is, where it's at. But yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. And also, just from a financial standpoint, putting it on streaming, I don't think the Bond producers will want to do that unless it is a last resort. Like, literally, if there is no other option, if this virus isn't going to go away anytime soon, and the studio and the cinemas won't allow Universal movies, then it may be their only option. But I really don't want them to. I want to see that film in cinema. I think for Daniel Craig's last outing as well, it would be a real. It would almost be sacrilegious to just put it on streaming. So I think that one is out of the cards as far as they're concerned, unless they really, really have to. But I don't think it will come to that. I'm confident that, it looks as though by November we could potentially be seeing it. It's just whether this dispute gets sorted out. That's the only worry. If there wasn't this dispute, I could confidently say, yeah, I think we'll see the film in November and hopefully it'll be really good. But I could say, well, I hope the film will be released in November if this dispute is sorted out. But, I mean, if the virus is going to slowly go away towards the end of this year, then good. Hopefully now it looks like we're starting to sort of turn the tide a little bit. But I just feel sorry for the other countries as well. I think the other countries like Germany made mistakes of coming out of lockdown too quickly. And now the case increased. But I think the UK has actually, despite all of Boris's faults, he's been very good actually at informing us about social distancing and the slow process of, slowly coming back and recharging. And I think also another point about the lockdown is you don't want to drag it on too long as well, not just financially, but also for people's mental health. That's an issue that's sparked up recently. And I think that some people are going to find it mentally draining just staying at home and doing nothing or working from home. I mean, some people actually do live like that. Obviously, some elderly citizens probably do spend most of their time at home, not doing much. But I think other people will struggle. I mean, there've been a couple of days I've had where I've just thought I'm just so bored and I can't stay in this house. It's just too draining for me. But that's why I hope that we do get out of the lockdown soon. Even it will be slow. It obviously will be slow, but unfortunately I don't have a job at the moment as well. So, and I'm not a key worker or anything. If I was a key worker, I'd be out there working in my environment. But maybe it's for the best I don't have a job at the moment for the health, the risk of my health and safety. But yeah, I mean, just on that subject, how have you found it, Jack? I mean, it must be quite frustrating just staying in the same place for so long, even though you live there.
Yeah, it has been boring. I mean, I think that's a key word for me. It's just been really boring. Um, I have missed going into town and seeing films and getting stuff to eat and um, you know, seeing my friends and stuff like that. I haven't seen any of my friends in months. I mean, I've been keeping in contact with them, but I haven't seen any of them in a long time. And I think this coronavirus thing. I think Boris is doing the right thing. I mean, I think he realizes that he can't ease the lockdown too quickly. I mean, he realizes that if he does that, the NHS is going to be overwhelmed. There's going to be a second wave, and the thing is, as well, is he had this coronavirus. He was very close to death at one point, and I think he realizes the gravity of the situation that he can't fuck around. I mean, in comparison, I think Donald Trump, from what I've heard and what I've seen, I think he's been an absolute idiot, a lunatic, in my opinion. I mean, all this stuff about, oh, if you just inject the bleach into your body, you can destroy the coronavirus, fuck off.
He doesn't have a Scooby-Doo. He doesn't have a Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah,
Lauren,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just saying, Lauren has can probably elaborate on that. She's from the USA, so I feel sorry for all the Americans that have to follow his rule. I mean, I know this isn't related to the virus, but I hope that when the next election comes, he does not stand for re-election. Even if he does, he's not going to have a bloody chance. But anyway, sorry. I apologize for interrupting.
No, it's fine. I mean, I can't really comment on Donald Trump that much because I don't live in America. But from all the things he's said and done, and from what Alan has told me and other people, he's treated this whole virus thing like he doesn't give a shit. I mean, the fact that he said, oh, you can, inject bleach in your system, or maybe if you like drink disinfectant, that'll destroy the virus. And I think, like Alan told me, like somebody actually did that. They like drank bleach or injected themselves with bleach, like Donald Trump said, and he killed himself. So I mean, he's just a reckless president. And then he was coming out the other day saying, "Oh, I'll take this malaria drug. That'll help me against the coronavirus." And then all these experts are saying this guy's an idiot. There's no there's basically, I mean, the people were saying that this idea of taking this drug for malaria is going to help against coronavirus. They said, well, that was rubbish.
It's ridiculous.
No,
two completely unrelated diseases. This guy has no medical knowledge whatsoever. And also, Alan told us the other day that Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin, has been reopened. Why, Donald? Why? It's a bit early to do that, isn't it? Oh, God.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, this is his own fault. I mean, instead of, I mean, he's the president. He could say, look, all the states in America, you're under lockdown. I'm the president. But no, he decided to let I mean, from what I know, I think he decided to let the people in the states, the governors and all that, decide, whether they want to open or reopen the states. And it's ridiculous. Like, I mean, reopening Wisconsin and all these states, like, I mean, look at the death toll in America. I mean, it's got the highest death toll of the whole world, I'm pretty sure. For him to like give the power over to these governors of these states or whatever, and let them reopen the states if they feel like it. It's putting people's lives in jeopardy. And you know, from what Alan's told me and what I've heard other Americans have said of Trump, he's handling the situation so badly, and I don't think he'll get reelected. I mean, he's just treating this whole virus thing like it's a fucking, like it's a joke. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I mean, and Lauren just said to us, New York is definitely going to take the longest to reopen. Well, yeah. Well, I think she's from New York, so yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, especially New York is just so busy as well. There's a lot of friction. It's like London, so yeah. I mean, no, I mean, Sam, I am positive that we will get through it, but we're just here to talk about it, and that's all. That's the only reason. But again, I think people complain about Boris and some of his advice being misleading, but I don't think so. I actually disagree with that. I think he's been quite clear about what he said. He's allowed people a bit of leeway, but you've got to stick to the rules and be cooperative. Whereas Trump is like, oh, we'll just do whatever we want, and we'll just hope that this goes away. That's literally his attitude.
we're gonna build. Yeah, we're gonna build a huge wall. We're gonna make sure that the coronavirus doesn't get through the wall. And oh God, it's just.
I mean, the death toll at 93,000. Jesus Christ, that's ridiculous. I mean, we're not even at that. We're lucky, really.
Yeah, no, that is sad. I mean, I think we've got like a third of that, like over 30,000. I think we're the highest in Europe now, but I think apparently after America, we're the worst. The UK is the worst when it comes to the death toll, but yeah.
The thing is, we didn't go into lockdown till March, so we actually came in quite late. And I think America didn't go into lockdown until was it around the same time, I think, or just afterwards. But
Harry said he wishes Hillary Clinton was president right now. Actually, I'd rather have Bernie Sanders as president, or
I wouldn't mind Barack.
I mean, at least,
Barack Obama was fucking damn near something better than Trump. But,
yeah. Well, I mean, one thing I will say about Bernie Sanders, he wants like free health care for all Americans. And I kind of feel, I really feel bad for America right now because all these people are dying of coronavirus. And the thing is, like in America, if you're ill, like you have to pay money, and if you can't pay the money, for certain things, then you could die. Unfortunately, that's why I'm so glad we have the NHS over here in the UK. Free healthcare for everybody. Regardless of what background they're from. I just kind of wish that we had like more caring. They had more of a caring president over there. But I mean, I'm not really gonna comment on America. It's not really my place to do that. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I just hope to God this flipping virus fucks off soon, and I hope it's gone by the end of the year. And
I think forbidden is the wrong word to use. I think it's very much out there now. But yeah, I agree. I hope it goes away. It's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact is also it's taken a lot of celebrities as well. I've seen more like celebrity deaths come up recently than ever before. Like, I mean, there's obviously celebrities die every year, but so far this year there's been loads. I mean, the most recent one I can recall is Irfan Khan, who's an Indian actor. I don't think he died of the coronavirus, actually. No, he died of something else, but he was a celebrity. I was quite sad that died. But there have been others that have died from the coronavirus. Didn't you say there was a person in a band that you liked who died recently?
Yeah. One of my favorite bands, the Stranglers. They were doing their final tour this year, and unfortunately, I think recently at the start of May, 3rd of May, I think, Dave Greenfield, the keyboardist of the Stranglers, he died of coronavirus. He had heart problems, and he died of the coronavirus in hospital. And I think it's really upset me and like pissed me off because I think the band's over now essentially because there's only one band member. I mean, all the original band members were alive until he died recently, and there's only one original member of that band who's still in it now. The other two aren't part of it, but no, I mean, it's been really shit. But yeah, no, yeah, Dave Greenfield of the Stranglers who wrote the songs like Golden Brown and No More Heroes and stuff like that. Like yeah, he's gone now. I mean, I only saw them once. I saw them once live last year, so I'm glad I got to see the Stranglers before Dave Greenfield passed away. But yeah, it's not just been loads of celebrities, but being very sad. I mean, I think when he passed away, I was just thinking to myself, right, I want this virus to fuck off like right
Yeah.
now. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Speaking of which, the idea of
yeah.
the vaccine. I mean, apparently they are racing to develop it, but I don't know if that's going to happen this year. Potentially next year, the vaccine could come in, but that really depends. I mean, the unfortunate thing now is at least they have a bit more of an understanding of the virus. Well, certainly in the UK, I don't think the Americans have a greater understanding of it because of Trump's poor leadership. But yeah, I hope to God that some kind of a vaccine is established, even if it's better to have for the younger generation, like the kids, because children going back to schools. That was one thing I will call Boris out on. Why on earth did he say get the younger children back in school, like years reception and year 2 or something, and then year 6? Like what? It's just random. Like. And have staggered classes. Like, how are young kids like age 4, 6, and 7 gonna have any concept of social distancing? It's not their fault. They're just too young to understand. So I don't know why he chose to do that. If I were him, I would have. If you were gonna do it, I would have done it through secondary schools. To have them reopen, because though at least the kids would be slightly older and they would have a concept of social distancing. But it would be hard. You wouldn't be able to have as many kids in a class. Like, you would have to have like at least half. You'd only have to have half a class really because of the distancing. I mean, what's your sort of opinion on that? Because I think personally schools should just have stayed shut until September, and also because it's too late in the academic year. It's going to be June by the time they reopen, and then they've only got July, and then it's summer holidays. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, my course, I have to have all the work in like tomorrow, and yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, schools end by the way. Most school terms end by June or the end of May or something like that. When work has to
July,
be in. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, schools usually are closed by June and and July, and I don't really see the point of opening up schools. And the thing is, like, you're right. I mean, it's too late now. I mean, it would be like if this was January, I would understand. If it was like January, like 6 months left of the year, then that would be fine. But we're right at the end of the year now, and to me, I just think it's a bit. I think it's a bit irresponsible. I think he's putting people at risk if he opens up primary schools and schools now. I just think it's let the
the only
schools
thing I
stay
will
shut.
say, sorry to interrupt. The only point of view I do see it from is if he's going from the point of view of he wants people to get back to work and he doesn't want parents trying to homeschool their kids. I can see it from that perspective, but maybe that's why he's done it. But it is ridiculous. I think it's too early to do it. I literally think September is the best chance to do it. I know people want to get back to work, but surely if you've got a family, then you could compromise. Maybe have one partner stay off one day or just work different hours. If you're a single parent, I could see it being a very difficult situation. So I just think it's not safe enough to do that. Sorry to interrupt. Do carry on. Hello? Oh, Jack, you there? Well, I hope he's not disappeared again. Oh no! Don't let the Wi-Fi cut out. Okay, Lauren, I can see your comment. Yes, well, I suppose that would be the same in the US. I mean, they have talked about online classes and stuff as well. I mean, in the UK, but really for like what we call primary school, you call elementary school. Sorry, I can't speak. That would just be too difficult. Like, they're not going to pay attention online and stuff. I mean, for universities and stuff like that, yeah, fair enough. That's a good idea. And it must be frustrating for you, but at the end of the day, it's better than nothing. I mean, it's just such a tricky situation with the schools. I think secondary schools could manage with social distancing. So, if anything, I would have just said if I were Boris or Trump, I would have said, okay, we can probably try and reopen them a little bit. I do think September would have been the best time, personally. But I understand, people need to go back to work and stuff, and there's not always childcare around. But it's an awkward one, and it's really awkward. I mean, I don't blame Boris as such, because he's in a difficult situation. He's in a predicament. What can he really do? There's not much he can do, or anyone can do. Okay, that's good. At least you're potentially going to go back, Lauren. That's good. But yeah, it's just tricky how to manage it. But I think for people that were starting university and like college and all of those things, I feel sorry for them, because I mean, if I were them, I would have just said to my college, I would be like, well, there's so little of the year left. There's no point. I might just restart in September or restart the same year. But I think colleges, my college in the UK, when I went to college, it usually finished in about June. It usually closed up by July. So there wouldn't have been much point. If I was in this situation in college now, there would not have been a lot of point me going back until September. I would have just said, I just want to restart the year and start again, because I think there's no point. It'll be a waste of time. But yeah, I mean, I hope that the schools do reopen. Of course, they need to reopen. They have to. People's education is paramount. But I think health and safety is more important in a way. So yeah, and sorry to my 3 viewers who are still watching this, but Jack has disappeared. I'm assuming it's a Wi-Fi issue, but he's just got back to me and said he's coming back. So I'll just wait for him to rejoin. And it was a Wi-Fi issue, unfortunately. But yes, what a world we're living in right now. And yeah, again, no offense to any Americans or to you, Lauren, but I'm so glad I don't live in your country at the moment, just because of Trump. I mean, I'll take Barack Obama any day over Donald Trump. I mean, that man is just, I think that man's got screw loose, honestly. I don't know what the hell is wrong with that guy. I mean, he might as well build a fucking wall just to keep the coronavirus out. That would work better than putting bleach. Oh God. But anyway, yeah, we're doing our best, and we'll get through it. As Sam has said, we'll stay safe and keep clean and stay positive. But it's good to talk about it and to reflect on where we are and how we're all doing. I mean, Lauren, if you're still there, how long have you been in a lockdown for? Because we here in the UK, I think, have been in for 8 weeks, possibly. I think it's about 8 weeks since March. So yeah, 8 weeks, heading to 9 weeks now. So yeah, that's how long we've been here for in the UK. But hopefully not for much longer. Oh God. And yeah, I kind of run out of stuff to say, really. Does anyone have any questions or want to say anything? Because I'm kind of out of ideas. Harry, Sam, Lauren, you can say anything you want, and I'll try and comment on it if that's of any comfort to you. I just needed a drink. 2 months since mid-March. Oh, yeah, okay, so round about the same time that we have then. So yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, God, and again, yeah, that is the worry. And the government have considered people's mental health, and that's one thing that I do worry about with people, like their mental state. How are they going to survive just staying at home, not knowing when they're going to be allowed out again, unless they have to work or whatnot. I mean, yeah, a friend of mine is a sort of key worker. He worked in a store. He works in a store, sorry, and his store did shut temporarily, although it's a garden centre, so it's now reopened, and he's still working there. Obviously, they're under rules of social distancing, but yeah, not many places are going to be hiring people, of course, given the outbreak. But Yeah, it's good to know though that in the UK there's not been any cases for 24 hours. So let's hope that continues. Let's bloody hope that continues because we cannot live like this. I mean, financially, if this lockdown goes on for another 2 or 3 months, we will. There won't be any money left in the world. I mean, my goodness me, people will be starving on the streets. It's kind of worrying to think about it, really. But yeah, I'll try not to think about the negative side anyway. Think about the positive side. Come on, Jack, come back, come back. Yeah, I've run out of things to say, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the movies though. That when we eventually get to see them, I think Soul is going to be a good film, and it looks like a very abstract sort of film, and I think it could potentially be one of Pixar's best. I mean, it's directed by Pete Docter, so that's very good, and he's one of my favorite Pixar directors, probably my favorite, because he directed my favorite Pixar film, Inside Out. So yeah, I mean, if this is better than Inside Out, then wow, that's gonna be that's gonna be insane. What's everyone's favorite Pixar films? I know, I think Harry's is Monsters Inc. Don't know about Sam. Lauren, I think yours is Finding Nemo. If I'm wrong, then do correct me. But yeah, mine's Inside Out. I bloody love that film. I might watch that again at some point in the lockdown. But yeah. Here's Jackie.
Hey,
Hello. So now that you're back, Jack,
sorry.
you were
Yeah,
saying.
I'm back. Sorry. Where was I actually?
I don't remember. I've kind of gone and said a few more things and whatnot, but yeah. Well, I just kind of went on to a discussion about some of the movies, like and Pixar and whatnot. As we're on the subject, Jack, do you have a favorite Pixar film? Or
Yeah, the first Toy Story. That's my favorite.
oh, nice, where it all began.
Yeah, it's not just because it's the first one. It's because I just love that movie in general. I just think it's a fantastic movie. Even 25 years later, I still think the CGI holds up pretty well for the most part. But yeah, it's a great film. I just love the characters like Woody and Buzz and all that. I think Finding Nemo would be there as well as Monsters Inc. And yeah, that for me is the golden age of Pixar from like Toy Story to around that time or a little bit further past that, like Incredibles and stuff. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, talking about the films that have been affected, yeah, I mean, I was really kind of annoyed that Quiet Place 2 was pushed back because we were supposed to get that, I think, in March.
yeah.
But yeah,
What
um,
do you think that one will go on streaming? I mean, if that one goes on streaming, I'll watch that because I do really love the first one, and although I would actually prefer to see it in the cinema just for the big cinema experience, but yeah, if they have to put it on streaming, they'll put it on streaming. But what about you?
yeah, I mean, I think it would be good if it didn't go on streaming. Uh, And I think the reason for that is um, I think streaming films it's just not the same as watching films like on the big screen. And I think the first one, I mean, I saw that in cinema. And it was a great film, and I really think the second one should get the cinema release because it's a claustrophobic movie, and the first Quiet Place, and it's a horror movie. And um, I mean, I would watch it if it was on streaming, but I would rather see it on the big screen. And yeah, I mean, talking about other film that have been delayed. I mean, Wonder Woman, I think, is delayed till August now.
Yes, August. I mean, that's
Yeah,
actually not too far away, but I mean, it
yeah.
was obviously meant to be in June, but I'm not actually, surprisingly, I'm not as excited for it. I mean, the trailer was okay, but I just don't think it will be as good as the first one. And I mean, I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. I just don't think that, I just don't think it looks as good, but it might be decent. It might be fun.
I think it looks pretty good from the trailer. I mean, I don't think it'll be as good as the first one, but I think it looks pretty good, and I'm excited for it. And Patty Jenkins is directing it again, and she did a great job with the first one. You got Gal Gadot back, and I think it could be a really great film. I just hope it doesn't go too much down the comedy route, because that's what I liked about the first Wonder Woman. It was a very serious film. It did have its moments of humor, but it was quite a dark film, and I like the sort of First World War stuff of Wonder Woman, and I thought it was a great film. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm looking
the
forward to
only
that.
worry I have is like the music stuff. Like if they're just going to have loads of 80s music, then I know it will just be quite derivative of Marvel, but with like Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok and all that kind of stuff. But no, I mean it might be good. I think it looks all right, but we'll see how it goes. But the first one was so good, so I'll be very surprised if it comes close to the first one. But yeah, we'll see.
I mean, they've had 3 years anyway to do the sequel, so I'm confident it'll be good at least. I think it'll be better than Captain Marvel, but yeah. Oh God, I mean, I couldn't care if they did a sequel to that or not. But yeah, no, I look forward to Wonder Woman 1984. I mean, hopefully, like you said, they won't be using loads of 80s music, because that would just kind of get annoying. That's one problem I did have with Captain Marvel as well, is that the 90s references did get a bit much after a while. I mean, yeah. But yeah, is there any other films that...
Speaking of superhero films, Black Widow, that's another one. That's a Marvel film, but I actually think Black Widow is going to be quite good because it looks a bit more serious. And I'm okay with Marvel films, but sometimes Marvel have an over-reliance on comedy. And I think this one will be less like that. I think this will feel more like a kind of thriller, espionage type of film, which I think will be interesting. And obviously, it's like a prequel, so it's set way before the Avengers and stuff. But no, I like the look of it anyway. But I mean, who knows? I could be wrong. It could just be a generic Marvel film. But yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think with Black Widow, I hope it's good, but at the same time, I kind of think it's a bit of a pointless film. They've had like 10 years to do a Black Widow film. I think she first appeared in Iron Man 2, which was 2010. So they've had a long time to do a Black Widow film, and I think they've only done it now because of the success of the first Wonder Woman film and Captain Marvel and stuff like that. But I hope it's good. I mean, it kind of seems a bit pointless as well because Black Widow's dead now. She died in Endgame. Spoiler alert. But yeah.
Yeah. Actually, just to answer Lauren's question, I think the reason why they waited so long was maybe because they couldn't schedule it. Maybe Scarlett Johansson had other commitments, and also they were filming the Avengers movies, and they were pumping out 3 Marvel films a year. So perhaps there just wasn't room to do Black Widow, or maybe they just didn't have any ideas then, or as Jack said, the success of Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel probably kind of gave them the nudge to probably do it more. But yeah, I'm surprised they're doing it now, like after the character's been killed off in Avengers Endgame. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I don't know. But I mean, hopefully it'll be good. We'll see.
Yeah. I think Avengers Endgame was a great film, and I really hope with Black Widow, it's a good film. And yeah, I think the delayed films I'm looking forward to most are probably Quiet Place 2 and No Time to Die, of course, number 1. But
yeah. I mean, A Quiet Place, that was a phenomenal movie. I will review the first one at some point, but I went to watch it at the cinema. Not being a real horror movie fan, like I don't mind horror films, but not keen on them. And that film blew me away, and I went back and saw it again. I managed to catch it actually at the end of its run. It was in June, I think, 2018. But I was very, very happy to go and see that movie, and I'm looking forward to the second one. Judging by the trailer, I think it looks good, but I don't know if it'll be as good as the first one, just because of the amount of dialogue there is. It doesn't really. It's called A Quiet Place, so it's now. They should retitle it A Not So Quiet Place because everyone's talking in this one. But I just think, in this case, the idea is that you're not supposed to talk, otherwise these monsters will come and find you. And I think they should have stuck with that for the second one. I know they don't want to repeat the first one, but you could find other ways for them to not talk. I mean, the parts when they do talk, I don't know, it doesn't intrigue me as much. I think it might be a good film, and I trust John Krasinski and Emily Blunt. I think they're married in real life. They make a good pair, but I just don't know. I'll go and watch it, but I don't think it'll be as good as the first one personally. But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, as for the delayed films like Quiet Place 2, yeah, I kind of agree. Like from the trailer, it did it was a bit jarring to me when they started talking because, yeah, like you said, the whole point is if you talk, those creatures they find you and they kill you. But I mean, at the same time, they could explain it. Like there was that scene in the first one where they go by a waterfall and they
Yeah. Oh no. Here we go again. Oh dear. Looks like there's going to be more Wi-Fi issues. But yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I am also looking forward to. Yeah, that should be fun. And Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3 will hopefully be very good. I've enjoyed the Tom Holland movies. They've been fun, but I always prefer the Sam Raimi ones personally. Because I grew up with them, and Tobey Maguire is my favorite Spider-Man, and I know that might be controversial to some people, but yeah, he is my favorite Spider-Man. But yeah, no, I mean Tom Holland is great, and I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. He's definitely the Spider-Man that has appeared the most on screen. So yeah, and Jack is gone. We'll probably be wrapping up soon, fellas, and Lauren. I think just because of Jack's Wi-Fi issues, we kind of said all we wanted to say anyway. But yeah, no, I mean I am excited for some of the MCU movies, but I don't know if they're going to build to another saga again. I mean, because the first sort of all the current movies now are part of the Infinity Saga, which obviously will build to Avengers Endgame, and obviously Spider-Man: Far From Home is kind of like an epilogue as well. So I don't know if they're building up to another new story. I know they're introducing the idea of the multiverse and other universes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it will be interesting. We'll see where they go. But to me, the MCU is a very mixed bag of a film series, but I like them. I think they're good, and good for you, Harry. I'm glad you love Captain Marvel. I just thought it was all right. It was passable, but I didn't think Captain Marvel was anything to write home about personally. But I really did love Wonder Woman though. I really did love that. That was quite entertaining. But yeah, and also there's a remake coming out of The Secret Garden. It was meant to be released in I think March or April. It was like an Easter release, but obviously it's delayed. So maybe it's delayed till next year, or maybe it's delayed till later this year. So we'll see when it comes out. But yeah, I'm probably going to review the 1993 Secret Garden film, which I watched as a kid. Spoiler alert: I love that film, so expect nothing to come from that review. But yes, yeah, no, and obviously Soul. Looking forward to that. Pixar, always looking forward to that. Disney Plus has also got a lot of good stuff on it, so maybe check some of the new content on there. Still watching The Mandalorian. I'm going to review episode 5 soon, and then I've already got 3 more Mandalorian reviews. So not too far away. Also, another film that's been delayed, which has been delayed for almost a decade, is bloody Avatar 2. All the Avatar sequels. I mean, Avatar 2 has been in development since like 2012 or something, like 2014. They started developing Avatar 2 and 3, and yeah, it's just been ridiculous. And obviously, like the fact that Disney now owns Fox means that the Avatar sequels will be distributed under Disney, which is fair enough. You know, I can understand that. But now the virus is causing them to be delayed even further. But I think James Cameron said that they'll make Avatar 2 and 3. They're almost done, I think, with Avatar 2 and 3. Well, they've filmed them, and I think they're in post-production for them. I'm not sure where they are, but I know Avatar 2 it's got a scheduled release for December next year. So we'll see how that works out. But they said they're going to make 2 and 3, see how successful they are, and if they're successful enough, they'll do the 4th and 5th. So I don't know. I initially thought that it was greenlit as like 4 sequels, but I mean the first one made so much money, so I'm not surprised they're doing sequels. But it has taken a long time. The first film was 2009, so it really was a long time ago. But I like Avatar. It's a good film. I'm not gonna say it's a fantastic film, but it's visually fantastic. The story, yeah, maybe it's not the most original story in the world, but it's a really good, entertaining film for what it is. And it may have a couple of flaws, but I really like it. I think it's a really well designed movie. The story probably could have used a bit of work, but I can see why Harry really likes it. And I was pretty obsessed with Avatar when it came out, actually. I was just so enraptured by the visuals. It's a very immersive film. It's a very immersive experience. So, yeah, and I am looking forward to the sequels. I want to see what they're going to do. There was actually a picture released recently on set of Avatar 2. They're filming the motion capture stuff, and they're showing, I think it's Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana as Jake and Neytiri. They're meant to be in the ocean or something. So I think they're going to use like underwater cameras or something and film them actually with the motion capture technology underwater. I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't know how they've done that because I don't know if the suits are waterproof or not, but we'll we'll just see what they turn up with. Hopefully, maybe next year we'll see a trailer for Avatar 2.
Hey.
Hey, Jackie. Yeah, we were just continuing our talk on films. I just sort of got into a discussion about the Avatar sequels. I mean, they've said they're going to do 2 and 3, and then see how successful they are before they do 4 and 5. And if 2 and 3 aren't successful, they won't do 4 and 5. I mean, what's your take on the Avatar sequels?
I think the Avatar sequels, we've been waiting years for this. And I think with the Avatar sequels, maybe there's going to be too many of them. I mean, the first one came out ages ago. It came out, over a decade ago, back in 2009. I actually remember seeing it in the cinema. I think I saw it once or twice. But, I mean, that was a great film in terms of 3D special effect. And, I mean, a lot of people have criticized it since then, said it's not good. But I like Avatar. I mean, it is a bit overrated, but I do think it's a good film. I think it's overrated in terms of box, kind of underrated in terms of people appreciating it as a film.
Yeah, because everyone gives it crap about the story, but I don't mind the story. Yeah. I think it's pretty good. Maybe it could have used some work, but it's a very immersive experience, and that was good. And I mean, actually, with the sequels, they haven't greenlit 4 and 5. They've only greenlit 2 and 3. So they're going to see how 2 and 3 go, and then if they're financially successful enough, they'll make 4 and 5. But I think, maybe making 4 sequels is a little bit of a stretch, but it has been a long wait. So we'll see how much the technology has improved. I mean, I just hope Cameron focuses as much on the story just as the technology as well, because some people criticized Avatar for just being basically a tech demo, and the story wasn't up to scuff. But I still like the story personally. But yeah. Hello? Oh, God. What's going on with Jack's Wi-Fi? Oh, he's gone again. We're probably going to have to wrap this up soon because there just seems to be a bad connection issue. I do apologise to the viewers of this for the technical errors, but Yeah. Oh, to the titanium turtle. We've basically kind of discussed that earlier in this hangout. So, I mean, I will reiterate in a sec, but I mean, we're going to be finishing soon anyway due to technical issues. But earlier in the hangout, when this has been streamed and uploaded to YouTube, you can see at the early part when we talk about films. But they've already got dates for certain films, like No Time to Die, the Bond movie, is going to be November, 12th of November. A Quiet Place 2, I think, is going to be in September, if cinemas are open by then. And Soul, Pixar movie, is going to be in November as well. Those are the only ones I know about. There's probably a few more. But Christopher Nolan's movie, Tenet, is being released in July, and they're hoping to get the cinemas open by July. But obviously, when they do open, there'll be social distancing rules and everything. We go into it earlier in the hangout, so you can go back and have a look and hopefully have a listen and see. It's at the sort of the start of the very start of the hangout. We talk about cinemas, but I don't know if they'll re-release Inception. I don't think they have any plans to. I think they're more concerned about new films, but I know that Fast and Furious 9 has been delayed till 2021 as well, and there's a dispute going on for Universal and some of its UK cinema chains that don't want to show any of their films, which is annoying. Hopefully that gets resolved soon. Yeah, Avatar 2 could potentially outgross Endgame. There is every chance, but Endgame just about peaked over the first Avatar, and James Cameron was very gracious about it, thankfully. But I mean, I'm surprised Avatar was like the highest grossing movie ever made. That's quite something. It made its budget back and more. So I don't think the sequels will probably make as much. But I don't think there's going to be as much hype surrounding the Avatar sequels. But I'm still gonna see it. I still really want to see Avatar 2 and 3 and see how at least it works as a trilogy. And I look forward to seeing if how the story continues. And I think I've heard rumors about Avatar 2 that it's gonna focus on Jake and Neytiri and their daughter. Apparently they have a daughter. So that would be interesting, and it explores the oceans of Pandora. Apparently. I am concerned. I mean, I've done a video about the Avatar sequence. I am concerned about the potential uses of the characters. Apparently, Quaritch is back, and also Sigourney Weaver will be in it. I don't quite know how that's possible because both those characters died. So, yeah. But we'll wait and see how that goes. But yeah, the first Avatar I think is a good movie. It's well done, very well done. Story maybe could have used work, but again, very good. The Dark Knight trilogy. Well, I mean, I watched the Dark Knight trilogy recently. All three of those movies are great, really, really good. It would be nice for them to re-release it, I suppose. But I mean, have they re-released them before? I mean, not to my knowledge. But yeah, I do apologize again for the technical issues, guys. We will probably be finishing soon if Jack comes back. Yeah. So, Titanium Turtle, it's been a long time since I've seen you. How are you doing? Okay, Lauren, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. All right, the Dark Knight was re-released. Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, it's quite good. I would have gone and seen it if I'd known. But yeah, I have all three of the Dark Knight films on Blu-ray. So Yeah, what a fantastic trilogy of films. Even The Dark Knight Rises, which some people give that movie shit for, I actually really enjoyed The Dark Knight Rises. Oh, okay, yeah. It's an Irish cinema chain, so I wouldn't know about it. Yeah, that's fair enough. Good, good. Nice to hear from you. Oh, so you're from Ireland then? I didn't realize. Yeah, actually, that's a good question. What films would you guys like to see re-released in the cinemas? For me, any of the Bond movies, particularly the Craig ones. Oh God, The Lord of the Rings, definitely. Those movies I would kill to see in the cinema. I'd love to see Peter Jackson King Kong again in the cinema. A Quiet Place, I'd love to see again in the cinema. Inside Out, I'd love to see again in the cinema. Any sort of Pixar movie, any of the old Star Wars movies potentially. War for the Planet of the Apes is another one I would love to see at the cinema again. There's so many choices for me. Yeah, I mean, in terms of old releases, maybe The Sound of Music, some of the old Bond films, um, some of the Pink Panther films might be good to watch again in the cinema. So yeah, I don't know what's happening with Jack. I'll give it another few minutes, and if he doesn't get back to me, I'll have to just end this because this has gone on for long enough, and I don't know if there's anything else to say. So yeah, Back to the Future. Yeah, they're great movies. I will give them a proper review at some point. I'll review those three films. I actually like the third one quite a lot. A lot of people aren't really keen on it, but I thought it was quite cool mixing sort of sci-fi and Wild West as well. And I liked the second one, seeing their version of 2015 more updated than our one was. And the first one for me is my favorite. Even though it has that weird subplot of his mother fancying him. Oh God. But other than that, it was a great film. Trainspotting. I've never actually seen that film. I must watch it. And I heard good things about the second one as well, actually. Yeah. There's a lot of films that we could see re-released. I know a friend of mine would love to see The Greatest Showman re-released, despite the amount of times my friend has seen it. Other ones out there. Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head that I would desperately want to see, but right. Oh, this is awkward. I'm terribly sorry about all this. I really am. I don't know what to say. It's Jack's Wi-Fi. It seems to be pretty bad. Goodfellas, yeah, another one I need to see. The Godfather movies, actually, that they would be good ones to re-release. All three of them. I actually really like the third. The third, which everyone gives crap on. I still think the third is pretty damn good. I know Sofia Coppola's acting is not the best, but at least she turned out to be a better director than an actor, so that's good. The second Godfather is like one of the greatest movies ever made. It's so good. It's one of the longest films I think as well. It's like 3 hours 20 minutes, but it's a very emotionally powerful film. I actually really like the first one as well. I really think the first one is good. For 3 hours as well. Those films move pretty quickly. I mean, and they're not kids' movies. You need to have the patience to sit down and watch those films. Actually, I spoke about Planet of the Apes, War for the Planet of the Apes, but actually the entire trilogy, Rise, Dawn, and War, I could see being re-released. But War, especially, War is just, oh, it's so good. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's just brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. I suppose Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, they would be good to re-release as well, just for the sheer spectacle. Yeah. Right. Well, I think I'm probably going to call it there, guys. It's pointless me carrying on really without Jack and talking about random films. This was meant to be a general discussion about cinemas reopening and the coronavirus, and then it's turned into a discussion about films as well. So, yeah. But anyway, thank you very much for watching and listening, and hopefully we'll be back soon with another Hangouts. Thanks very much to Lauren, Harry, Sam, the Titanium Turtle as well. And also thanks to Jack as well for joining me earlier. And I'm sorry he's not here at the moment, but he's got technical issues. So, yeah, it's not his fault. It's just unfortunate. That's all. But anyway, have a nice evening. Take care. I'm Mr. Thomas 11. See ya.